What's up, everybody? Welcome to the group chat. This is Group Chat Sports. I'm Peter Ariz alongside Chase Romero, and we are bringing you the final slate of picks here of the Premier League season. Big one. We have all games starting Sunday at 11 here Eastern time in America. Chase, excited for this weekend, but man, we gotta talk about what happened earlier this week. You're now two lottos in a row, one pick away here. As I pull up the picks here from last time, they call you Lotto Row for a reason. As you see, go through it, man. You felt pretty good about this one, plus 6,900, and you're one pick away once again.
Man, what a heartbreaker, man. That Brighton scored in the 98th minute. They added 10 minutes on. It was just, I was in my room. I just fell to my knees.
Look, Reece James got sent off
the red
there.
Card, that red card was huge, man. They took off Reece James on a questionable call because they didn't even call a red on Brighton earlier. That should have been a red, and he came out of the game with 15, 20 minutes left, and that was it. That's all the time they needed, man. It was a bad one, but the rest of them hit, and we were like, our thought process was on point. And this week we got another one for you, a good one. So,
and look, Anthony Gordon let you down last week. He was the reason you didn't hit it last week. He comes up big. I hit him plus 230 as an anytime goal scorer in that one. Obviously, Manchester United got the win there, but
he came through. He came through.
Yeah.
We put our faith in him twice, 2 weeks in a row. Finally, he came through. But Newcastle didn't come through.
Definitely not. So we'll get into these picks now, as we'll start with your picks here, as we have Arsenal obviously still fighting for the title here. Man City looks like they're in better position than them, but of course need to get the win here if they have any hope of getting it done. Arsenal at home. What do you like here?
Yeah, it's week 38, the biggest weekend of the year. Lots of goals usually scored during this time. But I think in this game, Arsenal's going to try to control the game, and they're going to try to win. Obviously, they need to win because they're chasing City. But I don't see them scoring. I see a 2-0, maybe 3-0 max. I don't see Everton scoring. Everton's pretty much, their season's done. They're on the road. They're not that great on the road. Their offense is not that great in general. So I'm thinking Arsenal win and under 3.5 goals at plus 125. That's the best price you're going to find for Arsenal winning. So I like that there.
Brentford, Newcastle. You don't have any faith in the Magpies after to get the win here.
Zero faith, man.
after last week. But this is a pesky Brentford side. Thomas Frank, as you mentioned last episode, has them playing really compact football, and you'd like both teams to score an under 4.5 here for plus money.
Yeah, Newcastle has to win. They're trying to stay in their spot and get European football qualifications this year. But I don't know. I see Brentford just capitalizing at least one goal, but I don't see more than 5. So I think Newcastle's offense, they're good. They're going to score 2, 3 maybe. Brentford max 1. So I could see it a 2-1, 3-1 Newcastle win, or maybe a 2-2 draw. Who knows? But both teams are scoring under 4.5. Looks great at plus 105.
Yeah, and earlier this season at St. James's Park, it was a 1-0 win for Newcastle. But I remember that game was very tough plotting for Newcastle. They scored a penalty. I believe Anthony Gordon it was a VAR check, but he won a controversial penalty, and Wilson scored the penalty. But yeah, it was not an easy game for them before. So it should be an interesting one.
In general, in week 38, I looked at the last 10 years. The average of goals goes up 0.6 in that last week. Teams are playing looser, so there's going to be more goals, but I just don't see over 5 in this one.
Next one, Tottenham, Sheffield United. Sheffield's been the worst side in the league this year. They'll be going down, and Tottenham couldn't get it done against City the other day, but you like them this weekend. Yeah,
like you said, Sheffield defense is horrible. I think they're the worst team in the Premier League this year. And Tottenham's offensive firepower. Ainge wants to play offensive football. He's always pushing. He's playing a high line. He's gonna score a couple goals. So I'm thinking maybe even Tottenham scores 3-4 goals here. Maybe Sheffield gets one. But I think Tottenham, they have the quality to win this game. Obviously, they have the players everywhere. They're much a better team than Sheffield. So I'm thinking Tottenham and over 2.5 goals at -180. It's a little pricier. But if you'd like to wait, maybe hit that live in game, you might find it at -150, -140. But I'm going to take it at -180 before the game.
Next game we have here, Chelsea, Bournemouth, over 3.5 goals, -150 is your pick. Chelsea's been hot, man. I faded them last time out because I didn't think they could win their 4th straight. But one thing they can do is score.
Yeah, exactly. There's going to be goals in this game. I don't know who's going to win. I like you said, Chelsea's been hot, but can they keep it up? I don't know, but I know that there will be goals. Chelsea's defense at home has been better, but Bournemouth, they do have firepower. They're probably going to be coming out to win. They're going to play a little more loose than normal. It's probably going to be an open game. I see a back and forth maybe. I could see something similar to how the last game was, a 3-2. Either way, either Bournemouth winning or Chelsea winning. And for that, I like over 3.5 goals at -150. I just think, that's a good price for that much offense that's going to be on the field that day.
Next one here, Liverpool over 3.5 plus money, +115 here. Obviously, Klopp's last game at Anfield. How are you feeling about this one? Wolves been one of the leakiest defenses in the league this year.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm being a normie, but I think Liverpool is going to score. And like you said, it's Klopp's last game, and Anfield's going to be rocking. That's the top 2 home field advantages in the Premier League. Klopp's last game, the players are probably going to be giving it their all. So I could see, and obviously Wolves too. Like Wolves, they're a good team. They're decent. They're still getting back to health. They don't have all their players, and I don't see them putting up a huge fight in this one. And I just see Liverpool. Liverpool has the players, has the team to overpower smaller teams like that. So I could see them on their final day of Klopp. Big celebration, winning 5-1, 6-1, 4-1, So that's why I like Liverpool over 3.5, and it's kind of juicy at +115. So I'll take that all day.
Now, next pick here. This has been your side lately. Crystal Palace. They've been on fire. We hit JP Mateta last week as anytime goal scorer, +175. What's up with Olise getting left off the French squad, man, for Euros? That's pretty crazy.
That's a disgrace.
That just shows you how much talent the France squad has. But Crystal Palace, -120 money line here against Villa, who we know this week secured Champions League qualification. So who knows if they'll throw out their strongest side.
Yeah, and I think going off that Villa qualifying, you saw them at their team like end of the year dinner. They were all celebrating, drinking champagne. I just don't know if their heart's going to be in this one. And they're running into a side of Crystal Palace, who's just again been playing amazing. They've undefeated in the last 5. They won 4 of the last 5. So they're just running into a buzzsaw, I think, and they're not going to be the most motivated. I even heard their captain, John McGinn, he was saying that everybody was just, their bodies are tired. They've been pushed to the limit this year. I just think they're already thinking about, Cancun or wherever they go in Europe, So
Ibiza.
Ibiza. There we go. So they're not really thinking, about this game that much, and I just think Palace is they still want to prove to the league like we're Palace, even though we're Palace, we're gonna come up and we're gonna play and we're gonna score on you. So that's my thesis around it, and I think Palace at home, last home game of the season, their fans are gonna come out, and it's gonna be a good game. I see maybe a 2-1, 3-1 win to Palace. Obviously, it could go either way, but I just don't see that Villa team coming out.
It's going to be an interesting summer for Palace, man. If they can keep it, that Olise is going to have a bunch of suitors, Eze as well. But if they can keep things together there for the most part, Bayern already tried to get Glasner. They said no. So I think they wanted 100 mil for him.
Yeah.
So
I hope they keep the team together, man, because I'll be buying a Crystal Palace Olise jersey next year if they do. Definitely.
There you go.
Yeah.
Last pick here for you, Luton Town, Fulham, both teams to score and over 2.5 -160.
Yeah, like I said earlier about the week 38 and just goals being scored, I just feel like this is one of those games where it's going to be open. Both teams are going to be, Luton's going down. They know it already. Or, I mean, they have a chance. They have to win like 7-0 for them to go to and for us to lose, but I don't think that's happening. So I think if they're just going to play a little loose, both teams maybe a little more open, and we see some goals there. I mean, Luton at home has been pesky for all the big six. They've scored on pretty much all of them. And I just think Fulham doesn't have that defense as good as the top six. So I see them scoring a goal at least. And Fulham, they have some firepower. Muniz has been doing insane this year. And Luton's defense, again, they're not that great. They gave up 3 to West Ham last weekend. I just see that as a goal scoring fest. So both teams are scoring over 2.5 at -160. I like that one.
All right, we'll get into some of my picks here, and obviously Chase, chime in, whenever you want here. Nottingham up against Burnley. Burnley also getting relegated. Look, Nottingham I think is +130 in this game, and I have it them winning and under 4.5 goals +195. Neither of these teams have much firepower offensively, right? I don't see there being more than 4.5 goals, and I like Nottingham in this game, so I think +195 is really good value there.
Yeah, I think Nottingham's a better team. I mean, Burnley is going down. They're not staying in the Premier League. They're getting relegated. So, and Nottingham has the firepower, like you said. So I like that, but I could definitely see like a 2-1, 2-0 kind of vibe.
So Palace, Villa, I'm liking the over 10.5 corners here at -110. We've been all over these corner bets recently, Chase. And again, it comes down to the fact that Palace is going to get up and down, and Villa, although it's going to not be probably their best side, they do have the talent. They do have some young talent that they'll throw out there that I believe they'll also get out and get open when they can. So.
Yeah, 2 offensive teams. And then like I said, it's the last week of the season. They're going to be playing loose. They want to move the ball up and down. So I could see a couple extra corners going out in this one.
Brentford, Newcastle. I'm kind of on the same thought as you. I don't trust Newcastle to win this game at this point. I don't trust them right now. And Brentford they've been a pesky squad. 1-0 last time, tight game. I would think that Brentford playing at home is going to probably have a similar game plan coming into this one. So I have under 3.5, -120. And we have Chelsea. I faded them earlier in the week, so I'm going back to them here. I like them to win and over 3.5 goals against Bournemouth. You had the over goals in that game. I think we both have the same thought that there's going to be a lot of goals scored there, and I like Chelsea to win this one.
Yeah, and Chelsea's the better team, and just sometimes, I'd rather take it a little safer and go for the goals. I'm paying obviously a bigger premium at 150, -150, and you're +120. But I like your bet too. It's a great bet.
Going back to Palace and Villa here, over 1.5 first half goals, -105. So essentially even money there. Believe it was the Tottenham Burnley game last week that I hit the over first half for 1.5 goals there. I like it here. Palace is going to come out swinging. Do they score 2? Is it a 1-1 at half? Either way, hopefully it hits, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is your specialty, the first half goals. And I like this one. Again, there's going to be offensive firepower all over the field. And Palace has something to prove to the rest of the league that next year they're going to be here to stay. So I like that bet.
And then my last pick here, which this one's kind of contingent on him starting, obviously, because he doesn't start every game for them. But Jeremy Doku, +230 to score for Man City against West Ham. Again, Man City needs this one to absolutely lock it up. They're in pole position here. But Doku, man, I think he's due. Even when he comes in as a sub, you see such an issue for these outside defenders there, because once he isolates one-on-one, he's impossible to stop. And to me, again, like I said, he's just so involved. He's just so active, kind of like how Anthony Gordon is for Newcastle. Obviously, Gordon is more of a focal point for them offensively. City has a million different guys who can get it done. But look, I like plus 230 there. I think that City's going to score some goals this weekend. West Ham has not been the strongest side. Moyes is out now, so to me, that's a nice player. Again, got to see if he ends up starting, because if he's not starting, it changes the equation. But there's a reason that Grealish is probably on his way out this summer.
Yeah, and like you said, all these games start at 10. Usually the lineup, I'm sorry, it's
11.
11.
Yeah, 11.
So usually the lineups come out at 10 a.m. And if you're doing any player props, I would suggest just to wait until 10 a.m. to put them in, especially since all these games start at the same time. And you could see if Doku is starting or not. Obviously, if he's not starting, you shouldn't bet that.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Now, this is our favorite part of the show, Chase. We talked about it at the start. Your lottos have been one pick away.
A little unlucky.
Well, but again, I think I said it a couple of shows ago. A lot of these picks are good plays as individual picks as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys like some of these individually, or you can parlay a couple of them as well. But the lotto is the big jackpot here, and you always say it, Chase. Just have some fun with it. Sprinkle a few bucks on it and let it ride.
Yeah, let's have some fun this weekend. There's literally every team is playing. It's the last game of the season, so we're going to go big on this one. And I started with Brennan Johnson from Tottenham. He's been starting consistently the last couple of weeks. And, offensively, let's not talk about the goal he missed this weekend. That cost me my bet. But he hasn't been the same. He's older. He looks like he's slowing down a bit, and Brennan is kind of like their spark right now. And I could see him assisting or scoring, but he's been taking some shots on goal, and he does have 5 goals this year. I think versus this weak Sheffield side, at the odds that they're giving him to score a goal, I think it's a no-brainer. And I like that to start off our parlay. And then after that, I have over 9.5 goals, Tottenham and Sheffield.
Corners.
Oh, sorry. Not goals.
Sheesh. I was going to say, what are the odds on the over 9.5 goals?
Probably plus.
That might be bigger than the lotto itself.
I might actually sprinkle on that. But over 9.5 corners for Tottenham, Sheffield. Again, I just think like the way Tottenham plays is so conducive to getting corners. They're always pushing. They're letting you push against them. If you beat their offsides trap, they're playing on 2-on-1s or 3-on-1s or 3-on-2s, and they're going to kick the ball, and it's either going to get saved out of bounds or maybe someone blocks it from the team. I just think, I think it was like the last 6 or 7 in a row have gone over 10.5. I've made it a little safer at 9.5. And I think that's a good bet for our lotto.
Yeah. Next up, you have Everton under a goal, under half a goal here. So listen, it was a great bet last weekend. I think you had Sheffield under, and then we mentioned
it was still a great bet.
It was. And you can't always play the result.
I think it was plus 330, and we had into the last 2 minutes. It was a lucky goal by Brighton. But here again, I'm almost thinking like the same as I did the last 2 ones that I bet under half a goal. They're playing the best defense in the league, Arsenal, who does not give up goals. They're playing Arsenal on the road. So on top of that, road teams against Arsenal are not scoring. I think it's like 0.27 or something like that and conceded at home. And Everton's firepower is just not great. They don't have the pieces to put up a lot of goals. And Arsenal is actually playing for something. They're in the race for the league with City. So they're going to be playing their best game, their best players. I don't know. Maybe they sneak one in, but I just don't see Everton scoring scoring at all.
Next one up here, a guy that most normies wouldn't know if you asked them who was the player of the month in April in the Premier League, and it was this man right here, Rodrigo Muniz for Fulham, and you like him to score.
Yeah. this is just, again, I said that game's going to be open. There's going to be goals. I just feel like, he's been their guy this year. Like you said, he was the player of the month last month. He's just scoring when he wants, and he's a clinical finisher. And if he gets a chance or 2-3 chances, he's going to put one away. So I just think in a game that I think there's going to be a lot of goals in, and I think Fulham might score 2 or 3. I just think I have to take him in this parlay.
Next up, our boys, Crystal Palace, over 1.5 goals.
Yeah, I think we've talked to you guys to death about Crystal Palace at this point, but Palace, again, they've got the front three that is probably one of the best in the league. It's Eze, Mateta, and Olise, and they all know how to score, and they all know how to pass, and they all interconnect with each other. And like I said, Villa might be hungover from their celebrations of getting into the Champions League. So I could see their defense being a little softer here, and 1.5 goals. I like it.
Now, Brian Mbeumo, anytime goal scorer for Brentford. You've been all over him lately. I think you've had him in the last 3, and he's been doing well.
Yeah. Newcastle is going to be on the road, and their defense suffers a bit when they're on the road. And like I said, if Brentford's going to score at all, it's going to come through this guy, either through an assist or a goal. And no one else is really scoring goals. So I just feel like if they're going to score a goal, it has to be him, and Tony, their other main guy, the guy that hasn't really done anything since he's come back from his betting suspension. He just, he hasn't done much. So I just think it has to be Mbeumo.
Now, this last one here, a guy who's been ice cold, but probably playing his last game in a Liverpool uniform. As I think we all think he's headed Saudi. But Mo Salah, anytime goal scorer for Liverpool.
Yeah, he's definitely going to Saudi. I think, his run at Liverpool's over. But again, I'm the type of person, I like sometimes if he's on a cold streak, I feel like he's due. And what better storyline than, his last game at Liverpool, Klopp's last game at Liverpool at home.
They've been beefing though, man. I don't know. Maybe he just does he show him love after the game? That's the question.
Yeah, and I get that. But again, he's also the PK taker. Yeah. I could see a PK happening in this one. He might not. I don't know. He might not have a love for Klopp, but it still has love for the stadium, for the fans. And I just think he's going to give it his all if he thinks even in the back of his head, there's even a little chance of him going to Saudi Arabia or another squad. So I like that. It's pricey, but if Liverpool put up 5 goals or 4 goals and he doesn't score, then that's just a bad beat,
Plus 1,600 odds here, plus 16,339. So $10 pays out $1,643 and some change here, Chase. So
we got a big lotto for the last day. Let's have some fun.
Let's have some fun, man. Huge slate this weekend in the Premier League, Group Chat Sports. Hope you guys are enjoying our content this point, and we are going to keep it going. So keep it locked. Follow us on social media, on Instagram, Twitter, Group Chat Sports.
Welcome to the group chat.
Welcome to the group chat. See you guys later.